You're listening to Myers-Briggs Question Corner with Edith Richards.
Today's MBTI Question Corner podcast focuses on ISFJ family relationships. The question comes from a woman I'll call Alena. Ever since I took the Myers-Briggs assessment as part of a student development course in college, Alena states, I've felt validated. I came out as an ISFJ. It's now clear to me that both my parents, my brothers, and most of my family members are extroverts. Most of my family are thinkers, while I am a feeler. I spent many years thinking there was something wrong with me, but now I know that I'm just naturally different. Yet this knowledge doesn't help when I visit my family. Holiday events and loud parties are the norm for most everyone in my family, but I can't wait to escape them. I do love my family and I know they love me, but how can I get them to understand that I need my introverted space? Alena, first, I'm so glad you found learning about the Myers-Briggs to be helpful for you, and I appreciate your courage in coming forward to talk about a difficult topic. You're really in a tricky spot. As an ISFJ, your very nature is to be accommodating and caring to others, especially family members. But you're also very deep, and I'm guessing that you've thought long and hard about your own Myers-Briggs preferences, those of your family, and pondered these issues that you've apparently had for many years. This may cause you to fret unnecessarily or to see the worst possible situation, the glass as half empty instead of half full. This is a very ISFJ strategy, protecting others from unnecessary risks or going off in the wrong direction. But to me, it sounds like you, Alena, are seeing the benefit of expressing your needs as you're growing and maturing, and perhaps you're trying to find the right way to express yourself. It may be validating to know that other ISFJs have reported trouble in expressing themselves when their ideas or viewpoints are in direct conflict with those they care about. ISFJs typically aim for harmony, and if harmony isn't possible, they'd rather say nothing. As a result, ISFJs are often taken for granted. Yet of all the 16 Myers-Briggs types, they are perhaps the type who needs more consistent affirmations that they are genuinely valued. Yet ISFJs are also one of the most intensely loyal types, and they take their duties and commitments seriously. This means, Alena, that I bet you would walk through fire for your family, and you've probably done so much for them at the expense of yourself. ISFJs define their own self-worth by being helpful to others. If your family has, whether unintentionally or not, trampled over you, it can be very hurtful. Because you base your decisions on your feelings, your immediate response when hurt might be to retreat into your shell and sulk. If this happens, it will take a long time for you to forgive, and you'll probably never forget, since ISFJs have very detailed memories. So first, I'm going to mention some communication tips that other ISFJs have found helpful. Then I'll talk about specific tips for introverts and feelers. There are 4 general communication strategies ISFJs should keep in mind as avenues for development. One is to develop your assertiveness. Many ISFJs are conflict avoidant, but being assertive doesn't have to lead to conflict. Many times it will help to solve family problems like the one Alena described more quickly and efficiently when bringing up difficult topics. Rather than focusing on the person, focus on the issue at hand. State your viewpoint in a logical way, trying not to personalize it. 2. Express yourself. Though it goes against your sense of duty, learn to say no if you're taking on too many responsibilities. Remember, saying yes to one thing means saying no to another. It's not wrong to express your needs. Doing this will enhance your own value. Many ISFJs repress their emotions in order to keep others happy, and this inevitably will lead to emotions boiling over in full force without warning. Therefore, resist the urge to bottle up your feelings, but practice expressing them in a healthy way. 3. Keep it short. Many ISFJs have a tendency to be long-winded, especially if it's a topic they're passionate about. Because it's difficult for them to summarize in general terms, ISFJs can recount incidents in extreme detail, which can be tedious for others. The next time you're telling a story, watch the people you're speaking to for visual clues, such as breaking eye contact or looking at their watches or phones or fidgeting, as this indicates that they're impatient and they would prefer to hear a summary of your story rather than a complete list of details. 4. Be open-minded. Like many Myers-Briggs J types, ISFJs may judge a situation prematurely. No matter how you feel, try to ask questions and gather information. Try to understand other people's viewpoints instead of making a personal judgment, even if the other people's opinions seem unfair. This strategy could be helpful in the family situation like the one that Alena described. Now, for other introverted types who are dealing with similar family relationship challenges, here are some strategies that might help. One is to prepare yourself if you know you'll be interacting with extroverted types. Remember that extroverts are more naturally going to be energized by interacting with others, but large gatherings of loud people interrupting or talking over you can be sensory overload if you're an introvert. Adequate preparation and ample time resting beforehand can help. 2 is let them talk. Extroverts are more likely to be expressive, to be uncomfortable with prolonged silence, and to process information out loud. As a result, what you may hear is just the extrovert processing, not necessarily a well-thought-out response. Extroverted types' typical communication style means that it's talk, think, talk, while for the introverts, it's think, talk, think. If you want to show the extrovert that you're interested in what they have to say, paraphrase their thoughts or ask them questions. They'll most likely be thrilled to have a captive audience who's genuinely interested in them. And 3, visibly and or verbally acknowledge what they say. Extroverts may wrongly assume that you're not interested in them if you're overly quiet. Make sure that you let them know that you're tuned in by nodding or verbally validating what they say with active listening techniques. For more techniques to communicate with extroverts, check out my podcast, 5 Ways Introverts Can Engage with Extroverts. Now, for Myers-Briggs feelers or feeling types, here are some strategies for communicating with your thinking relatives. First, don't assume that advice means you're doing something wrong. Thinkers, especially in a family, may give advice freely, believing that they're helping their partner or family member in a quick, effective way. Feelers, however, may be talking not to hear advice, but to vent or express themselves, and may take this advice as an attempt to criticize. Instead of taking this personally, try to look at the well-meaning advice for what it is, simply that. Most likely, family members who are doing this are just trying to help. Your thinking relatives do care about you, even when compassion or empathy aren't always apparent to you. Second, be solutions-focused and logical. When problem solving, feelers naturally show understanding to the person before trying to fix the problem. Thinkers are the opposite. They fix the problem first. Thus, thinkers will appreciate a direct or even assertive approach. Give it to me straight, they'll often say, or don't beat around the bush. So practice increasing your clarity and directness, even if it feels uncomfortable at first. Also, use logic to try to explain why you feel the way that you do. And finally, be authentic. Don't be logical or detached if that's not authentic to you in the moment, especially if you're dealing with a contentious issue. You deserve to have your needs respected too. It's very important for you to recognize if you're going too far to either extreme, thinking or feeling. A great way to find more balance is to accept your own preferences, but integrate a little more of your family's style, uncomfortable though it may be, into your own mode of operation. So to summarize, Alena, I'm so pleased that the Myers-Briggs has been helpful for you. As you continue to learn about the MBTI and the way your family interacts, know that good communication is the key to a satisfying relationship. Many people communicate in ways that promote understanding and connection, but most of us need better tools to do this. Understanding your own Myers-Briggs preferences can help with this, though of course this is only part of how people communicate. There is so much more that goes into family dynamics than the Myers-Briggs can measure, though it's a great starting point for a meaningful conversation, as we've seen in this podcast. Thanks so much for your question, Alena.
Thanks for listening to this episode. If you'd like to hear more, or you'd like to submit a question yourself, then you can find us at www.atopcareer.com. Until next time. MBTI and Myers-Briggs are registered trademarks of the MBTI Trust.